It's like Paul said, we're kids, elderly, and safety behind it. Unlike Uber or Lyft, we limited the drivers to law enforcement, fire rescue, former or current, retired. So our pool of drivers was different pool of drivers, so we were able to charge more. So that was the whole concept behind it. But when it came to production, software, compliance, it was only me. I didn't have this. By the time that we went back to Paul and said, hey, I'm done, man. I can't do this anymore. I'm done. It was just too much because Paul had already had the company set up in a way where it could handle. He had different departments that could handle recruiting, that can handle, software, that could handle raising money, could handle any other things that I was limited in.
So his specialty, though, is in the compliance area. So all of you that want us to be compliant in airports, cities, states, it's funny when everybody comes, when are you going to open this? When are you going to open this? And I'm like, well, how many people do you have ready to do rides? Like, that's what I really want to base things off of, is production. So it's like, when a little bit later, we're going to go through, and James is going to show you the reservation part of it. We'll be able to open your cities just like that. But we also still have some regulations and things that we have to find out.
Let's talk about airports as an example. West Palm Beach Airport, right? And I know Florida compliance like the back of my hand because I had to deal with it. We were investigated by the the Department of Business for compliance, passed 100% because compliance is number one, at least for me, right? So West Palm Beach Airport. The actual application for West Palm Beach Airport is about 25 pages long for us to be able to pick up passengers from West Palm. There's an exclusion area that has to be programmed in, so the drivers cannot park in certain areas except certain place and wait for the rider to come out, right? There's a fee that has to be paid. So if I only have 10 drivers in West Palm Beach, what the hell am I going to pay this fee and wait for me to get it back over a 2-year period of time, right? But I can still drop off at the airport. Dropping you off is 100% fine. So
that's how we build these things. When we open your area and we do the reservation, just get me some rides. And I'm not saying me, I'm saying us. Get us some rides so we can see it's going to make sense. And I don't have a problem spending the money to do what we got to do. But it's so funny because a lot of times, it's like everybody's been, oh my God, I got to get my Connect account. I got to get my Connect. I want to buy all these nodes. I promise you, the minute everybody gets their Connect account, we'll sell 2 nodes. Because everybody wants what they can't have till they get it, then they don't do it. Does that not usually happen? So what I'm saying is, if you want me to open your area, it's happened in Miami. They're like, we're ready to go. We're going to get after it. We got 300 drivers signed up. And I'm like, all right. I went down there. I did a meeting. They were all excited, fired up. I don't see one person. Who's in here from Miami that was at the first meeting with me? Were you? Okay. But you're from Miami, but you weren't there with us when we did our stuff, right? Oh, these two. But they drove from 8 hours away. So they were in Miami. So guess what? That Miami didn't go anywhere yet. It will. But guess what? Here in West Palm Beach, because Milner is willing to do any ride, anytime, and do it, I don't care how far he had to drive away, he's building a business. He has a lady now that you do it almost every day, twice a day, right? And how much do you make on each one of those rides?
Sometimes 20, 25, 28.
So how long does it take you?
Less than sometimes 30 minutes.
So 30 minutes each ride? So that's an hour, and if you made 25 bucks on each one, that's 50 bucks for the hour, correct? Is that not better than Uber and Lyft?
A lot better. Way better.
So that's my thing, though. It's like, but people don't want to put in the work on this side. What they want to do is turn on their app and go, where's my rides? That'll get there, but guess what? By the time we get there, all of you that do rides, all the people that get now, all the people that commit and get it, they're going to have the best stuff. They're going to have the best customers. They're going to have all that kind of stuff. So it's like, put that work in now like he's talking about, and we'll open the cities. So that's kind of on compliance. And we're going to do it by city, because you got to go by, he was just telling me in the back, you got to go by city, or I'm sorry, state. Then you got to go down to city or county. Then you got to go down to this and that. Like, there's a lot of layers to everything.
There's a lot of compliance. State compliance statutes, then you have county, then you have state municipalities, you have airports, other areas. If you have an event, if you have a Super Bowl, right? Good luck.
Right.
Good luck.
You got to get a permit to be able to do that kind of stuff. So we will get it all. But what I'm trying to get across to you is when you have people that start asking these questions, now you have an answer, right? Like, why aren't you picking up at the airport? Listen, we're going to be everywhere. You just got to be patient. It's going to take a little bit of time. But what happens in the field a lot of times is somebody asks you a question, you don't know the answer, you knee jerk and come to me, why don't we do this? Calm down, I'm getting there. Like, everything's planned out. Like, you don't think Tony put $15 million just in the REV blockchain. You think we did that without a plan? Like, some of you are like, I do believe you did that without a plan because I know you do. But we do have a long-term plan. It's just sometimes it takes, steps to get there. So we're going to get there. And having you all here this weekend for a REV, it's supposed to be REV only, and REVO only, and it's awesome that we got to do all the other stuff because it's going to feed into it so well. And Wright Thurston, which is a gentleman that's put the whole Connect thing together, I don't care how much money you make. I don't care how well you do in life. We all like recognition, right? And I'm not saying this for my own benefit, but he put on one of our groups about how he heard I killed it yesterday and all this other stuff, blah, 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 blah. I don't care who you are. It still feels good when you get recognition from someone you admire, correct? And so I want to do even better because I want to make it so that all the other brands know that REVO was the one that helped this company in this ministry, this revolution across all the brands. I want REVO to lead the way. I want everybody to go, look how much revenue they brought in. Because guess what? When this one brings all the revenue in, guess what it does for the other brands? They go, oh, we can do that. Ingenuity and revolution sparks more revolution. And so if we all win together, they said yesterday, the boat thing where it rises. I don't always get the things right. I know you're going like, what did they actually say? You can look it up. Boats rise with the tide. All boats rise with the tide. Takes me a minute, but I get there. So let's talk about insurance now.
Sure. Everybody has to have insurance. How's that? Hey, so there's state requirements for insurance policies for rideshare. I can only speak to the state of Florida at this point, right now, and we're working on other states right now. But state of Florida has, it's really two-step tier. One step is the policy amount when you have your app on, okay? So even though you don't have the passenger in the vehicle, you still have to have insurance to satisfy the amount without the passengers in the vehicle when you have the app on. I think it's crazy because you're going to pick up passengers, right? What the hell do you have another requirement? It doesn't matter, whatever. So that policy, you have to have $100,000, 100, 200 on that one. Whenever you have an actual passenger in your vehicle, you got to have $1 million aggregate policy. Okay? Now, that policy is satisfied by two different ways. One way is you personally have that policy. Another way is the company pays that policy, and that's what Uber and Lyft do, and that's why they take 60, 70% of your total bill, or justify taking the total bill. Or it's a combination of both. So the company might cover your 500, and you cover the other 500, but aggregate-wise, you got to have $1 million policy when you have a passenger in your vehicle. Okay? And that's under, I don't have the statute name, it's probably on your website. But if you need the statute, I'll give you the statute. Any questions?
But here's the thing. What he's saying that Uber and Lyft and them have the insurance, what are insurance built for? Not to do your claim. Like, correct. I promise you, go try to get a claim against them. It's funny because people go, I want to make the most money, but I don't want to pay any more on my insurance. Like, what do you want? Like, as we grow as a company, if we have 1 million drivers in our company, do you think we could go to Progressive or some of these other companies and go, we want our people to get the best deal on the possible earth. We're going to train them to be safer drivers. We're going to incentivize them with rewards to be safer drivers. Not just, they say I've seen that you can put something in your car, and if you're a safer driver, they give you some off of your insurance. What if we were able to reward our drivers to use something that they could use for Grow or one of the other, or Rally or one of the other brands just within our reward system for being a safer driver, then go to Progressive and go, we got 1 million safe drivers, what will you give them for an insurance? Do you think that's power then? And it's a lot better deal. So when we are required to have the insurance as a company, we will. But this is a startup. Things are, it's funny because right now we're manually doing the background checks by hand. And James almost every conversation I have with him, we got to get that done. We got to get it. We got to pay the money. It's a lot of money to get the background checks like put together and done. Well, when we're not approving people till we open an area. So why would I want to go spend $100,000 on approving all these drivers that aren't probably even, some of them ever going to drive for us? When we open your area, then we do it. Does that make sense at all? But every day he's like, we got to do this. And every day I'm like, you stay in your lane. I'll stay in mine.
And that's a good point. That's another requirement by the statute, is the background has to be completed prior to the driver driving. So that is absolutely another.
So we'll do all that kind of stuff. Let's take like 2 or 3 questions on this right here. Hold on.
Mike's
You got to do Mike because we got people streaming at home.
Can you hear me?
Yes.
So the
Stand up, name, where you're from.
John Burbidge from Denver, Colorado.
It's more for I get your names after a while. I remember from that one.
So the Uber and Lyft policies have a $2,500 deductible on the policy, correct?
I don't know what deductibles are.
So-
I'm only speaking on the
Florida.
statute for the state of Florida. I'm not speaking on.
Yeah, we
Uber
don't know
Lyft
what they carry.
policies, what they carry, who pays
So
for
We
they
it.
just
can-
care
they-
what the state tells us we have to do.
They can have any deductible they want
Deductible
to.
is not in the statute.
Okay.
They can
That's
do
all I can
whatever
tell
they
you.
want.
So-
They make up the
So if your
statute.
deductible is $100,000, but your
Yeah.
policy's $1 million, as
I'm
far
just
as I'm
saying,
concerned,
if-
it's compliant.
If the Uber and Lyft drivers knew.
I don't care about Uber and Lyft drivers.
Okay. Okay.
No, but I understand what you're saying.
If they knew, they wouldn't think that highly of the insurance that they have.
Right, 100%.
Yes.
It's a 2,500.
Right.
What did you say it is? 2,500? If you got a $2,500 deductible,
But yes, your point is
most,
correct.
most little fender benders and things of that nature aren't probably going to cost that much, unless you put your car on Turo for the first time and somebody runs your van right under a thing like I did.
And if you tell them you were in an accident, they're going to say, you got to show us that the car has been repaired before you can drive it.
So what he just said is another thing. They may get the insurance, but before they'll pay it, you have to prove that the car was fixed and the damage. So you can't scam them is what they're trying to do, but they're going to also keep you from making money until that's fixed, correct?
And that is why, from when I was running Safe Ride, I made each one of the drivers carry their own policy. That way, they received a much higher payment. They controlled how much they spent. It wasn't on me. It was decentralized, sort of.
That's
almost the
exactly
same
what
thing.
will happen at
So
some point.
Why should I control what I take from you and your policy and your policy and your policy, or even average it out, if you guys can get your own?
They're making money. If they're taking money out of it to pay for insurance and that's the kind of things they say, you don't think they're making money on that? They're like, oh, we allocate this much for insurance. Well, they know the numbers. They know the stats. Only this many people actually getting a ride. This are the claims that we actually do. Okay, let's do that.
And remember, you're still carrying your own policy as well. So if
They make it
somebody
a perk when it's not a perk.
It's not just going to be Uber, it's going to be you as well. So might as well have your own policy and get more money paid to you.
And listen, we're going to work on things to get the policies and cheaper and this and that. But it's funny, when I sit down with somebody and that's the first thing they say to me, they're like, well, I get insurance with them. And I'm like, all right, you do know you have to have your own insurance above and beyond that. No matter what they cover, you're still responsible as an independent contractor and those people are in your car, right? I go, how much insurance did you? I said, the best question to ask somebody is, did you alert your personal insurance company that you're driving for Uber or Lyft or one of these deals? No.
By the way, the statute requires you to alert your company to make
But
sure
it's-
that they know that you're driving for Uber or Lyft.
But it's funny when these people come at me and they're all sticklers on what I gotta have, but then I say, well, have you let your insurance company know where you're supposed to? No, I'm not gonna do that. Why not? Because my insurance is gonna go up. So what you're telling me to do is me pay for your stuff, but you're not willing to pay for it even though you know you're supposed to. All right, I'll be like, let's do crime together. You want me to do it, but you're not willing to do it. Yes, sir. We gotta do the mic thing though. Well, we'll get here. 2 more and then I gotta let Peter go and then I gotta move on. Cause I wanna try to get us out of here by 1:30 if that's okay with you and not take a lunch and then come back.
One.
Go ahead.
Yeah, I have,
You
you're right
already
about
talked
that
once.
because you're right about some of the expenses and everything else because even last year I drove for Uber, they hit me for $32,000. That's deal with insurance, building the app and everything else. That's the expenses. So Uber's really, they doing their thing on the compliance part. And just want to make sure, I believe that, like you say, whoever we pick up, if we take them to, I think this probably apply for all over 50 states, if we take someone to the airport, we don't have to worry about the compliance when we drop it
Correct.
off.
Right.
Airport, we don't have to be licensed in the airport to drop off
To drop,
anybody.
but just only to pick up.
Just on the pickup, we
'Cause-
have to have license with each airport. So remember, Palm Beach.
Yeah.
Maybe in New York.
Miami.
and
I know they charge you
California.
for airport fee too as well.
Require different applications.
Okay.
And different
Maybe in
fees.
California and New York, they're legislating what you have to do at your house.
Yeah.
I'm just kidding. Probably coming someday. But they
Yeah.
can't legislate me going to pick up Peter at his
Right,
house
that's
and
what I was,
dropping him
okay, I
off.
just wanted to
But
make sure
they
that,
can't legislate when you're a driver there.
And like you said, the insurance, we all, starting off, even to do
So-
that,
so
we still
the way-
should have our own insurance, form our own insurance company to offset for Rideshare.
Say that again?
Our insurance company, whoever's doing the driving, if we're doing REVO, then we should have the insurance for Rideshare.
You should.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying, yeah, each
I
individual.
can't tell you what to do. You're in your own business.
I
but
mean,
if
I
it
know
was
that.
me,
I'm
would.
just saying it because I know they're on live stream and everything else to make sure that they hearing what's being said, that we definitely make sure we apply with our insurance company so we are covered.
I would.
Okay.
I can't tell you. You're an independent contractor.
Yeah,
but if it
well,
was
you're
me,
right, 1099. You're right about that, though. That's right.
All right, let's leave the last question on the insurance stuff so we can move.
All right, so I've been driving Uber for 9 years. When it first came
I
out,
like how you do this.
Yeah.
Like, I hate
9
this.
years,
I hate that way.
been in the game. But so I understand how the insurance works. The Uber insurance is not for the driver, it's for the customer. That $1 million policy is
Say
for
that again?
The insurance that Uber provides is not for the driver, it's for the customer.
Right.
It covers the customer. It don't cover us.
To cover your car, though, right or no?
If you pay $2,500 deductible, yeah.
Yeah, if you pay that $2,500 or
But it
whatever the
does-
big
yeah,
thing
it
is.
just covers your car, but it don't cover you as a person, right? So that's why you have to have your own insurance, right? And there's 3
That's
tiers.
even worse
Yeah, so
than I thought it was.
So that's basically, because I also have a car rental company where I rent cars to Uber drivers. So anyway, long story
There's a lot of
Now,
people
let me
driving
ask- let me
around
ask
thinking
you-
they're covered physically when
They're
they
not.
ain't.
Let me ask you a question. Your insurance, did you get an endorsement for Uber on your insurance?
So I didn't endorse them on my insurance. Most people don't do that, but now because it's a higher premium, right? So if you say so that's why we're like, okay,
Yeah,
we'll
that
pay the
is.
$25 deductible because it'll cover that customer. We don't want to get sued by that customer, and so we'll do the $25 deductible and then they'll take over that. But if you get rideshare insurance, then that means you're qualified. If something happens to you, they're going to cover you. It's higher premium.
So the thing is, if the policy is under what the damages are, it's still going to go after you
Yeah, exactly.
personally.
Yeah. So
So just remember this. So here's an example, and everybody just think about this. If you are required to carry $1 million policy, whether it's by, let's say Uber's carrying $1 million policy on your vehicle and you get into a car accident, and the judgment, because you crashed, is that person gets $1.5 million. Guess what? Guess where they're going to try to get that $500,000 from?
Yep.
From you directly.
if you don't have that insurance to cover it,
They're going to name you on that suit with Uber together.
That is true.
So think about that.
right?
And so, but the driver's
This
not
is so
the
this
driver's
is
not,
such